Jeff, let's turn to you first. Is this the return of Donald Trump's infrastructure week? Like, if we take like a pause between the last 4 years when Joe Biden actually passed massive infrastructure legislation, is this now like infrastructure week, number 9 that was to be continued? Or is this one actually for real?
Well, it seems like it's for real. I mean, the one difference between this and the infrastructure weeks that he promised during his first term is that he came out with an actual announcement today, and CEOs to back it up. I think you're smart to emphasize that some of the details aren't worked out, and interesting to know the context of the fact that the previous administration was working on this as well. And certainly President Biden worked hard on setting out a sort of a roadmap for AI and his own executive order about that during his term. But, President Trump likes splashy announcements. I was in Florida with him in December when he had a meeting with the SoftBank CEO who was here tonight, and he was pressing him then to increase his pledged donation or pledged announcement of money from 100 billion to 200 billion. He came out today and said he was giving even more than that. So that's the kind of announcement and the kind of entertainment value that President Trump likes. But the issue itself, as you highlighted in your intro, Steph, is very important. And certainly the United States is wanting to be a leader in AI, and President Trump is presenting this as a way to get there.
Sam, all 3 tech leaders made a point. They understand how Donald Trump operates. They made a point of saying that this project would not have happened without Donald Trump in office. Are the floodgates completely open for Silicon Valley or just the tech industry at large to do what they want if they got on board with Donald Trump? Because, as I said before, I know they were working with the Biden administration, and Joe Biden said, we don't have the money to commit. There is still red tape to go through. And I'm sure that was frustrating for those guys because Donald Trump is like red tape, schmed tape.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a symbiotic relationship here, right? You cozy up to Trump, you get favorable conditions from Trump. You cross Trump, you're in his crosshairs. And I think the Silicon Valley Titans know this. I think it's why you see them rushing to be part of these announcements. It's why I think you see the tech giants, the people who are running social media platforms, contribute copious amounts to his inauguration, host inaugural balls, be up there on the stage, literally seated before the cabinet members. Everyone wants to be part or close to the president now, in part because they recognize that a lot of what he does is he does politics of retribution and vengeance. And if you get on the wrong side of him, that is not a good recipe for you to be in. I will say, to your point about Biden, it was notable that in his exit speech in the Oval Office, and frankly in an exit interview for Jake Sullivan as well, they both stressed the significance and importance of winning the AI race against China as one of the most imperative issues for America going forward. They were clearly thinking about the need to position America in this contest and invest the resources. The difference, as you note, is that they were much more prone or eager to see some safeguards and guardrails and red tape to make sure that there was protection for consumers. Trump seems, from an ideological perspective, less interested in that, more interested in getting the investment money right through the door so that you can have these gaudy, but important, frankly, announcements about investments in plants opening in the United States.
Definitely important. We got to get in this game. But Leanne, what do you make of Elon Musk, right? He was nowhere to be seen today. I heard that at least 1, maybe 2 of these companies said, we don't want to be doing this with Musk. He doesn't, quote unquote, play well with others. Or do you see this as Donald Trump showing Elon Musk who's boss, right? For weeks, people have been saying Elon Musk is, the second president or, co-presidents. But did Donald Trump just say, hey, Elon, you're not my only AI boyfriend. I'm the only president.
Well, Elon Musk already has a lot of jobs in this administration, so maybe he just couldn't take on another one.
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
really sure why he was there. But I will say that there's been lots of reporting about people who have become frustrated within the Trump administration, the brand new Trump administration already with Elon Musk. some of those allegations have been shot down as well. Elon Musk had a great seat yesterday at the inauguration. But also, even though Elon Musk is such a pivotal player in tech world and in artificial intelligence, he also has had a little bit of a different take on AI. For the past year or two, the Senate had convened many series of meetings and conferences on AI, and Elon Musk was actually warning people about the dangers of AI. Not to say he's not in this AI game, he doesn't plan to be at all, but he is a little bit more fatalistic about it. And Sam is absolutely right, because the conversation around AI over the past year or two has been about not only funding AI, but also regulating AI. And now most people who are involved in this, especially on Capitol Hill, believe that the conversation is going to shift dramatically toward funding, yes, deregulation as well.
A lot of these CEOs, and I'm not saying they're right or wrong, felt like the Biden administration was sort of paralyzed in terms of how they wanted to regulate it. And I'm not sure that what they're going to do now, which is a no regulation bonanza, is better, but it sort of encapsulates the two different administrations. Let's move on to a new topic, though, Jeff, because tonight Donald Trump said he is more of a friend to police than any other president. Donald Trump does absolutely have a lot of support from police unions. But does what he did in pardoning January 6th rioters negate that?
Well, he certainly doesn't see it that way, but I think the evidence would show that it does. Certainly the fact that he has made a decision to issue these pardons and just a handful of clemencies, despite the fact that some of them were convicted for having attacked police, in addition to raiding the Capitol, that just doesn't figure into his calculation. I think he made clear in his explanation last night in the Oval Office, I was there for that, and today in the Roosevelt Room, that he thinks that the punishments that they faced were unfair or were enough. And it's that latter explanation that he's been using when asked the question about the police, and generally about these pardons writ large. So it's a contradiction, and President Trump is a man of contradictions. He, as you rightly said, Steph, has a lot of support within the law enforcement community. That's a constituency that he has sought to get their support, and yet that was the day in which the law enforcement absolutely suffered. And we saw it on video, we saw it in live television, people who were there saw it in person. You can't take that away. And yet he has taken away, in any case, the punishments that many of those people faced yesterday and today.
You can't take that away, or can you? Because January 6th was the biggest investigation in the FBI's history, and it has now been completely wiped off the Bureau's website. It seems like even for Donald Trump, this is like taking the idea of rewriting history to a whole other level. Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's an incredibly dark day, right? We had an insurrection, an attempted overthrow of the government, or at least an attempt to stop the peaceful transition of power. Numerous police officers suffered gruesome injuries. Several of them subsequently took their lives. And to wipe the slate clean, to not allow for the punishments to see their course, is to erase that history, to erase their sacrifice. And it goes beyond that. I mean, it's, you played or you alluded to the J.D. Vance and his comments, what were they, 9 days ago, all of 9 days ago. J.D. Vance said, obviously, the word obviously, we would never pardon someone who attacked a cop. It was obvious to J.D. Vance, but it wasn't obvious to Trump. For Trump, it was about claiming that day was not, in fact, a black mark on our politics, but that it was a misunderstanding of what a peaceful protest really was. And I think, yes, he can erase it. And yes, the pardons are within his power, as are clemency. But I don't think from a psychological standpoint or a historical standpoint you can erase this. And in fact, I think we'll look back at these pardons as an act that will hang over the Trump presidency and his legacy beyond whatever the next 4 years has in store.